Have you ever walked into a pipe shop and thought, this pipe shop is not for me? I've had that happen one time. I'm not talking about like the Wild Bill's tobacco stores. I'm talking about a place that calls itself a pipe shop. There was one experience I had recently, and a friend of mine walked into the pipe shop, and it was two different buildings. And we were traveling through this town. It was just an overnight, and we found this pipe shop that was 4 minutes away from where we were staying. So in the morning, we got there. A few minutes after they opened, and it ended up being two buildings. We walked into the first building, and it was some other kind of retail. I don't want to give the stores away. I just don't think that's worth it. Well, I'll talk about the stores I like, but I don't want to give away the names of stores that I don't like. I just don't know if the internet's the place to do that. But we walked into building number one, which we thought was the only building. And they had other retail stuff in there. And then they had all the glass crap, all the vape craps, CBD crap. And so my first impression was not good. The employee asked what we're looking for. We said, I thought you had pipes and pipe tobacco. And, oh, that's in the other building. Oh, okay. So we walked over to the other building. And the shop was really cool. It was a large shop. It used to be a different kind of business before this business took the building over. It literally was right across the parking lot. And it had a smoking lounge area. It had, I think, like 2 tables that you could sit at as well. And the other part of the shop, a very, very nice humidor. One of the most impressive humidors I've seen in a pipe shop, actually, or cigar shop. This place had a really great pipe selection, very impressive. A good selection of shop pipes or wall pipes, and then a lot of name brand pipes as well, and a good selection of them. A good variety of pipe tobacco tins, and they also had several of their own tobacco blends as well. And so the shop was pretty cool. It was pretty impressive. It was huge. But here's what I couldn't stand about that shop. The employee was one of the most arrogant, unaware people I've met in a retail setting in a long time. He maybe just made the assumption that we didn't know anything about anything when it came to tobacco. And look, if I don't know anything about tobacco, that's fine. There's still a lot that I'm going to be learning about pipe tobacco. It's not necessarily a goal of mine to learn everything I need to know about pipe tobacco, but I'm not saying this thing saying I know everything there is to know about pipe tobacco, because frankly, I don't know much compared to most. I know what I like. I know the basics. I know my way around a shop. I know my way around a pipe. I know how to clean a stem. I know how to be a guy in this world who enjoys his pipe tobacco. I don't know if I need or want to be anything more than that, and that's totally fine, right? But this guy treated us like, first of all, he made fun of where we were from right off the bat, and I know he was trying to be funny, sarcastic, but that was literally the first real exchange that we had, so within the first 5 minutes. And then, so I'm looking for a pipe, and he goes, let me see your hands. I'm thinking, okay, maybe he wants to see the size of my hands and recommend some pipes. So that, okay, that's kind of cool. It's a different approach, but and instead of maybe grabbing a few pipes that might fit the shape of my hands and the size of my hands, he, oh, you don't work with your hands too much, do you? Wrong thing to say, dude. I am an office worker, but so yeah, my hands aren't all calloused up and whatnot, but that's such a weird thing to say. I didn't really take offense to it because, I mean, I am an office worker. I like to be outside, but what a weird thing to say. Without going on too farther, the entire experience of the shop was like this, and I did not buy anything that I would be keeping. I did buy a tin of tobacco. There was a blend there that I haven't tried before that I wanted to, and I thought, we visited the shop. Let's get something. We'll support the shop, I suppose. And but not a good experience. So this is a long introduction, but I wanted to tell that story of a bad experience at a shop. The shop was cool. The guy working there was not cool at all. At all. Dropping F-bombs, GDs, had no idea who we were. Knowing that my buddy and I are very faithful practicing Catholics who, yeah, we might, stub our toe and swear or like drop a damn or something like that to make a point, but we're not dropping F-bombs and GDs, that's for sure. Especially in casual conversation. There's just no, it's such a sign of low intellect to just randomly swear for no reason whatsoever. It's just part of your vocabulary. It does not behoove anybody. So, this is about to go out. Let me give this kind of a quick relay. And then I want to talk about what makes a good pipe shop, in my opinion, as I'm blowing up all the ash. So, I have not been to dozens of pipe shops in my life. I've been to a good handful now. I've had the good fortune this year of traveling to Mississippi, to Gatlinburg, to Steubenville, Ohio, and then I've got some pipe shops in my area too. So I want to talk about my pipe shop experience this year. So I had the opportunity to go to Jackson, Mississippi and visit the Country Squire in April. And it was a fantastic experience. I walked in, the guy who was supposed to open the store was late. He wasn't sick, so someone else was coming in. Dominique, the manager, ended up coming in about 45 minutes after they were supposed to open. And but in the time that I was waiting because I got there right when they were supposed to open, and then 45 minutes later, Dominique came. But a guy who was in the lounge, they have a 24-hour lounge for members, he came around the building because he saw two of us standing outside talking. And he invited us in. I said, can we do that? I'm not a member. He's like, yep, I can have a guest come on back. So he walks me around the building, and I'm sitting in the lounge. This is now 20 minutes after they're supposed to open. And I can't remember the guy's name. I wish I could remember him. So I say little prayers of thanksgiving and petition for him with an unknown name. And sat and started smoking a pipe with him. I was smoking Peterson My Mixture 965. And he was smoking a cigar, and we just had a wonderful conversation. He was a young man, maybe 20 years younger than I am, and but a delightful conversation, an uplifting conversation. We shared a little bit of our stories in that short time, and that was not solicited by either one of us. It just naturally came. It was a wonderful 25 minutes talking with him. And then the store opened up. Dominique, it was just fantastic. He was busy opening things up, so I wasn't trying to bother him, but we did talk for a few minutes, and I learned I was from Michigan, and I signed the guest book, and it was just such a cool experience. And then I bought a pipe. I knew I was going to come back. With my brother, who lives about an hour from there, and so I bought a meerschaum pipe, and I didn't buy any tobacco that round because I knew 2 days later, again, I'm coming back. And the dude, the member who let me in, as I'm paying for this pipe, goes, Dominique, give him my membership discount. I'm like, what? He's like, oh yeah, members can do that. If they choose to extend their membership discount to a guest, they can. And he did, so I got 20% off that meerschaum pipe. And it was just such a natural environment. Came back on Monday. That was a Saturday. Came back on Monday with my brother. We spent 3 hours there. Dominique was there again. He just took us through this excursion of tobaccos. We're sampling tobaccos. We're, smelling the tobaccos. He's talking us through it. He even blended something up for my brother because my brother was asking questions about different kind of blends, and he really liked the smell of one and asked a question that made Dominique go, oh, I had this blend that I used to make. Let me see if I can find it. He comes out with this stack of notes and papers, and it's got all these blends on it, right? Super cool. And about, a third of the way through the stack, he finds this blend. He goes in the back, comes back about 2 minutes later with, I think, 3 different bags of bulk tobacco. They look like they're probably 3-pound bags. I don't know what they come in, but that's what it looked like. And he just gets the scale out and blends up this blend. And I don't know, what maybe he made up like 4 ounces or something of this blend. And my brother, he filled up his bowl, and my brother liked it. And he gave him like this, he might have even given him a bag of it. I don't know. Anyway, we got treated like royalty there. We bought a bunch of stuff, had a wonderful time, conversation. People were in and out. It was first names. People were working there. People were reading there. Pipes, cigars. This place, this is the point I'm getting to. This place had a culture. People go to the Country Squire from all over the place. They call them pilgrims. We were pilgrims, right? And this place had such a distinct local, but also kind of like a hostel, not hostile, but like a hostel to stay in, to sleep in, feel to it. Like this is a place where people journey, and they come and they relax and they meet new people and they talk with each other. They kind of almost share lives a little bit with each other. It was a cool place that had a culture of its own, and it was a good culture. Gatlinburg was much the same way. I went there one afternoon, and then the next morning, I talked to, I think his name was David. Great, great guy. And then the next morning, I will call by his proper name, Father Richard, because he's an Orthodox priest. He's a valid priest. And gosh, I talked with him for just shy of 4 hours on Friday. Bought some tobacco, bought a pipe, had a wonderful time. Different place, not so much the place to hang out in, because it's just a small little place in Gatlinburg. It's on one of these like split level malls. It's like 6 split stories, and they're on the 4th floor of it. Not a lot of room. There's one little traveling stool that you can sit on, but that place also had a culture of its own. People came in, I mean, the FedEx guy, like knew everybody by name. I think he even bought some tobacco when he was in there. So this was a place that, again, another destination place. And these guys know their tobacco. And in September, I'll share something really, really unique that I did when I was there, but I can't do it yet because it's a surprise. So in September, I'll have a video that shows a really cool thing that I had done at the Gatlinburg. But again, this place had a culture of its own. It was absolutely inviting to foreigners, if you will, especially Northerners. And but yet the local culture there was strong. It was first names. The workers knew exactly what people wanted. New people came in like me, and when you're in there, this is the cool part. So at the Country Squire, this is not a bad thing at all, but they're very busy. They're kind of running around and doing a lot of things. At the Gatlinburg, it was kind of neat because when a new person walked in, they got full attention from the employee. I mean, you were their job, if you will. And it wasn't a job, it was friendship. You got full attention from the employee. And I knew when somebody else came in, because I was sitting there talking, I just faded into the background when someone would walk in. Kind of knew my place and my role, right? But then when the shop was empty, I received full attention again. It was a really cool experience. There's a shop in Michigan. That's kind of my go-to shop in Michigan. It's about almost 2 hours from my house. It's in Lansing, Michigan. It's called Campbell Smoke Shop. I stumbled across it. I was in Lansing. I just Googled pipe tobacco shops in Lansing, and the shop came up, Campbell Smoke Shop. And the smoke shop part of it made me think it was just a vape place, you know. But the pictures look kind of cool. So I went in there, and it is amazing. Josh is the manager there and the tobacconist, and he is the most customer service friendly, I don't want to say gentle because that just doesn't sound quite right, but he's a very calming individual, very peaceful. When you ask questions, you get his full attention. He educates you. When you buy a pipe from there, I mean, he is meticulous about polishing that pipe up for you. He's like the consummate, is that the right word, consummate? Old school retail professional. I kind of feel the shop itself, it feels like you're out of time a little bit. It feels like it's 75, 100 years old because the cases they have in there are old. And then just the way that you're treated, it's almost like when I was a kid in the barber shop and everyone was smoking in the barber shop and they had the ashtray stands, and I remember going there to get my hair cut, and it'd be like the lineup of old men, and they're all just talking shop. And it was the place to be, was the barber shop. That's how this place felt. And I'm a foreigner in that place too, right? I live on the west coast of Michigan, and here I am 2 hours away, going into this local environment, and there are people coming every single day there, and they just started talking to me. So John and Joe, if you ever see this, you two are awesome to talk with, and you just kind of fit right in. People introduce themselves, and they have a couple tables with some chairs to sit in. It's a wonderful, wonderful place, and their tobacco is fantastic. Anything they top their tobacco with is all natural, so no synthetic crap and preservatives along those lines. And their tobacco, it's just, well, the Campbell's number 14, that was in the video I did on beginner tobaccos. It's my number 1 or number 2 favorite tobacco. It's right up there, and it's just so consistently good. And they have a nice variety of pipes. It's not a massive variety, but it's a very good variety. And same with tin tobacco. They have not a lot, but what they have is like solid. You're not going to go wrong with anything they have. And if you want something, he'll order it for you. He'll work to get it for you. Really, really cool place. Again, that place had a culture of its own. So I think this is what makes, in my opinion, a really good tobacco shop. It has a strong local culture, but it also is a culture where if you are from somewhere away, you recognize there's a local culture, but yet you can still feel comfortable in that place. You do realize too that, okay, I am an outsider coming into a local culture environment, so there is a little bit of that there. The Country Squire was the one exception, because that place is so universally known. But a shop that has a strong local culture but still will invite you in to share in that while you're there, that's a really cool experience. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it with that. I want to know, as I continue to travel from place to place over the next few years, what local shop is near you, or what is your go-to shop? I don't want an online thing. I want a brick and mortar shop that has a good, strong culture, but also will help a foreigner feel like they belong there when you come in, even though you're just a visitor. Put those in the comments below. I'd be really curious. Until then, thanks for your time, everybody. Thanks for spending a little time here at the Pipe Farthing, and I'll see you on the next video. God bless you all.